So I noticed that you're a huge fan of retro games.
Oh yeah.
And I think we
we
love
all
retro games.
grew
as well.
up with retro games. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean, could you tell us some of your favorite retro games? I'm interested.
my
Or is that
favorite
too
one,
hard?
the one I played most was Sailor Moon action game. You know,
Really?
Like, it's very, very Final Fight-ish. But
Is that the fighting game?
No, it's actually action game. So like it's exactly like Final Fight. You just keep walking and some.
Or like Double
Oh,
Dragon?
like Double Dragon. Yeah.
We call in Japanese a belt score action game.
Right.
That's a
Keep
mouthful.
going.
Yeah, I think my cousin like had like a collection because there was a number of them, right? There was like 6 or 7 of them on the Super.
At least 2 Super Family game for action games and 1 puzzle game, 1 RPG, 2 fighting games. There are a lot of titles.
Yeah, I saw you were
for
streaming. I can't remember which game it was. Evangelion game you were streaming?
Oh yeah, ever. I played the first PlayStation ever game for PlayStation.
Right,
it was simulation game. So you think like you choose a certain answer and that's gonna change the ending.
Yeah.
But actually, until the very end,
Nothing does.
it's always the same. Until the very end, the final question gonna let you choose 3 paths, like 3 endings.
Right.
But you have to keep nothing.
But
It's always
everything
the
else
same.
So it's
before that makes
basically
no sense.
it was basically just Mass Effect
I
then.
know.
Your choices mean nothing.
And you know what? You can't even skip any stories. You have to rewatch it again and again.
That is
Oh,
like
God.
Connor's worst nightmare.
That's my hell. I love the old Neo Geo games. Like Metal Slug is like my
Right.
favorite series. I fucking love Metal Slug.
I recently just did a video where I went and played a bunch of like Japan only retro games, like anime retro games. There was because there's like a number of like JoJo games as well, like on Super Famicom and like
And the Yu Yu Hakusho game was
and the Yu Yu
very
Hakusho game. Dude, that Yu Yu Hakusho game
popular.
is so
Yeah, I
fun. And but I didn't realize that it's a really popular game in Japan, but no one in the West knows about it because they only localized it. Well, they only released it in Japan, and for some reason Brazil.
Oh,
But only Brazil. Like the US didn't get it, Europe didn't get it, Australia didn't get it. It was only Brazil that got it.
But there are maybe a lot of like Japanese Brazilians at the time.
Oh yeah, there is I found this out today actually.
Because the professional wrestler, like legendary professional wrestler Antonio Inoki.
Oh,
he was
yeah,
from
that makes
Brazil.
sense.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
Brazil,
yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, apparently there is a huge population of Japanese in Brazil. I can't remember the reason why, but
Well, anime is like pretty big in Brazil, so I've heard.
right.
I mean, way bigger than it was, where we grew up. But it just amazes me how many anime games there are that have just existed that will just never get translated.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, even some big ones still have not been translated.
Right, because
and
the Sailor Moon RPG one, they just got fan sub like a few years ago.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
after
yeah.
all those years.
The original Fate Stay Night visual novel has still not been officially translated.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
believe
if
that.
anyone who's played the original Fate Stay Night visual novel, it's all fan translations right now.
Damn.
Whoa.
And
I had
Fate
no
fans
idea.
expect people to get people into it by reading the visual novel.
Yeah, because I know it was like really massive news. I think it was like 3 years ago when they decided to make an official like English translation of the Clannad visual novel. And they'd made like a Kickstarter for it and everything, and it got finished in like less than 24 hours, even though it's such an old game. And it wasn't at that point I realized, I'm like, oh shit, there's never been an official translation of this game. It's all fan subs. And in my head, I'm just like, who is doing these fan subs? It's like, who has so much time that
like you
and
can
talent,
so many
Yeah.
things.
talent that you're like, you know what? There's this visual novel that's all dialogue, 200 plus hours long. It's probably like, if you put into a script, it's like, 300, 400 pages.
Yeah.
I'm a translator. It's like, how do you find yourself in that position?
Weebs weaponized, man.
Weebs are so passionate.
They are. Man.
No, they are.
Like, was it Secret of Mana that never got an official?
The first one, yeah.
Yeah. Final Fantasy never got released, even though it was a huge series until very recently.
Yeah, until very recently.
Which is
yeah.
crazy to think a game series like Final Fantasy that was killing it in the West as well. Like one of them just wasn't released.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's really weird.
I have a lot of like, Macross fanatic friends in California,
Macross,
especially.
yeah.
But I think the only official one was Robotech, right?
Yeah.
The other one, like,
I
you
think
have
so.
to look for them,
Yeah.
like, unofficially.
It's hard being a weeb, man. It's hard.
Especially a retro weeb, because now like Macross or Macross, sorry, is like it's not got as big of a fan base as it used to, because now Mecha has just kind of like almost died in the Western fandom. It's only the very dedicated fans that still keep up with everything like
Right.
that.
And if there is mecha, then it's usually combined with some other genre that is more appealing, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's not usually like mecha is the main. It's like
Yeah.
here is the main, and we just add a little bit of mecha to it.
Right.
I think like the last big mecha was probably Darling in the Franxx, and I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
right.
more people cared about Zero Two than they cared about the mechs.
No.
No one was like, "Oh, Darling in the Franxx, those mechas are cool." It was more like Darling in the Franxx.
It was about
damn,
the
that,
inside of the mecha.
Yeah, you were looking inside.
it's like, damn,
Right.
that booty thick.
Yeah.
That's all they cared about, right?
See, we missed out on so many good porn parodies, Japan, because your dumb laws of Darling in the Franxx.
Yeah. Oh my god. I'm surprised they haven't made a Darling in the Franxx porn yet. Or in fact,
What?
so many anime series or manga series that could easily make
Right.
a porn parody, and I know
True.
it will sell.
Right.
All right,
But
well,
just-
American porn producers who listen to Trash Taste, please make it happen.
Hey man, we just gave you guys like free real estate for that.
Yeah, exactly right.
Because you know people are gonna buy that shit if they make it in the West, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.